All right, so look, this is something we got to talk about here. So PewDiePie is the biggest YouTuber on the platform as of right now. Some of his content is pretty funny. Like if you watch his FouseyTube video that he did, I mean that one was pretty hilarious. He can also be pretty funny at times. So he's been embroiled in a lot of controversy as of lately. And I'm not here to say that he's like, he's a white supremacist or something like that. I don't think he is. But he certainly has a weird association with them, which is very odd. And so I'm just curious as to why he has these associations here. So there's actually, someone took a picture of a specific group of his following list. He only follows like 590 people. Not many of them are lefties either. But if you look at this here, there's a bunch of right wingers. And now, him following right wingers, not really all that big of a deal, whatever. I think he's a closeted right winger pretty much, I think is what he is. Or at least that's who he chooses to associate himself with. But there are a lot of people he's following which are extremely problematic for very obvious reasons. So first of all, look at Lauren Southern, for example. Lauren Southern has been embroiled in a lot of controversy in the past 2 days because of the New Zealand shooting, because she had a great replacement conspiracy video, which is basically like white people are being replaced by brown people and this is bad and we need to stop it. And that was one of the things that the shooter said, that he was, he, I guess, had radicalized him essentially. And so she had taken the video down and put it back up, and she's been, trying to fight that off and everything. It just really looked bad, really, really bad. So he's following someone who was, throwing flares at migrant boats and is a white nationalist and just an overall piece of garbage, xenophobic piece of shit. Lauren Southern, he's also following Brittany Pettibone for some reason. Pettibone is one of Southern's like best friends. I think her best friend. They're both, she tries to keep the white nationalism more under wraps. But if you listen to some of her stuff, you know that she essentially is also a white supremacist. She just tries to keep it a little more under wraps. But she was also part of Defend Europe, Identity Europe, or whatever, which is just super xenophobic and just white nationalist essentially. So that's also weird. And then you've got Stefan Molyneux, who recently has been peddling race IQ shit and outright came out and said that he supports white nationalism. There's a video that he did where he was talking about how, I'm a libertarian, but I'm also an empiricist. And he's talking about how he went to Poland, and he's trying to say that Poland is a good example of a white ethno-state. Now, I may even have this mistaken, but my understanding is Poland is one of the lower tier countries in the EU, and it's kind of like made fun of a lot as being like a high crime, like shitty country. Now, I may be wrong on that, but either way, there's no, an anecdote is not empiricism, as well as Poland is not a good example of an ethno-state. And so he just, he was crying at the white nationalist march or whatever it was, the white pride march or whatever. He's been peddling race IQ shit outright, you know what I'm saying? And then he's also, like I just said, outright a white nationalist. 100% full frontal white nationalist. So why, what is up with this? Notch, for example. Now this guy, he was the person who made Minecraft and I guess sold it. This dude believes in the QAnon conspiracy, and he's also like a weird Trump guy. Paul Joseph Twatson, this guy is also one of those InfoWar goons. He works with Alex Jones. He's one of his employees. This kind of stuff is really weird. Ian Miles Chong, why are you following this fucker? Remember this guy when Heather Heyer was killed at that that KKK march that was being done. Remember that he had falsely reported it was a liberal who did it. And there's also a guy who tried to get Andy Worski killed by the police. This dude's a thorough lunatic. And you can kind of just look at these other people: Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson. Ben Shapiro actually just did a video about how he radicalized Alexandre Bissonnette to do that Quebec mosque shooting. These people, I just don't understand. So when you're talking about, if it was just, and this would still, in my opinion, be kind of like, okay, what the fuck? If you're following Peterson, Shapiro, Crowder, okay. And by the way, JonTron also was embroiled in a racist controversy as well, with the debate he had with Destiny. or he was just doing a bunch of like xenophobic shit too. But if you had like, let's say, Rubin, Crowder, Shapiro, Peterson, okay, but why are you following Stefan, an outright white nationalist and a white supremacist, Brittany Pettibone, a white nationalist, Lauren Southern, a white nationalist who was arrested for throwing flares at a migrant boat and had peddled a conspiracy that white Europeans were being replaced by brown people, which led to the radicalization that ended up killing nearly 50 people, 50 Muslim people. So why are you following these people, dude? I don't understand. So what the fuck are you doing? I don't get it. There's no reason to be following these people. And it doesn't seem like there's even any, like, he's following left-wingers too. But this doesn't really even have to do with right and left, to be completely honest with you. He's obviously a closeted right-winger. But why the fuck are you following these fucking white nationalist white supremacists? What the fuck is that? That doesn't make... You don't need to be following Brittany Pettibone. Who gives a fuck? Lauren Southern, you don't need to be following her. Stefan, there's no... legit reason to be following them. Like JonTron, you could make an argument for because he's like a fellow content creator sort of in the same niche or somewhere around there, Notch, you can make an argument for, he's a lunatic too. Those people you can't make an argument for. And so when you personally go out and follow Lauren Southern, when you go out and follow Brittany Pettibone and Stefan Molyneux, what the fuck are you doing, dude?